With age comes wisdom, experience, and a whole lot of unexpected changes. Welcome to Dad Brain, where two best friends share their journeys through the ups and downs of their 30s. Get ready for the raw and honest realities of growing older. Here are your hosts, Matt K. and Matt L.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Dad Brain. We got quite the dais of guests today. Before we get into them and introduce all the great things that they're up to, I want to make sure that if you are watching this video, you give it a like, a comment, and a subscribe at Dad Brain Pod on YouTube. Follow us on all the social media platforms. We have been creating content with the vision of Uncle Mike here. Even Matt K has been getting behind the camera for some reels. At Dad Brain Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Also, if you are listening to this on iTunes or any other podcast platform, please leave a review, rate, and comment. And yes, let's get into our guests today. Obviously, for people that have listened to Dad Brain or watched Dad Brain, we see Uncle Mike. But we have ChadO, who is an Austin, Texas stand-up comedian and a father. Welcome, Chad, to Dad Brain.
Thank you. I'm definitely more of a father than a comedian, that's for sure. Barely been doing this comedy thing, but been a dad for a long time.
No, I was, before we started, I was kind of talking about how interesting, what your comedy career is becoming, because you just put out a 1-hour special on your YouTube channel, which we'll put in the show notes for our viewers to check out. And it's super interesting because the concept of the mic is they give you like a topic.
Correct.
And you have to kind of write tags and kind of riff on it.
Right.
And you really see your evolution in just 1 year. Like you started in August of last year, correct?
Right. It's been a full year now. Yeah.
A full year.
Yep.
And I mean,
how old are you now?
I'll be 43 this October. So
you started at 42.
Yeah. But
so what was like kind of the impetus for like starting at this time in your life?
Well, having kids, I was more of spending time with being a dad and having businesses and raising a family. So once they were old enough to handle their own shit, that's when I decided to do my own. Yeah.
So that's when you could kind of like disconnect a little bit and go check out some other mics and kind of follow this dream a little bit. And in your comedy special, you mentioned wanting to get pulled on Kill Tony.
Yeah. So I've signed up every week since August 1st, and I have not been on at all. Yeah.
The bucket is rigged.
Well, it's definitely they're definitely throwing my piece of paper on the floor. The bucket's rigged. I just might not be making it in.
He's wiping his ass with it after the show.
I bet there's a few that they just toss aside that they, I don't know.
The bucket's only so big.
Yeah. Got to save room for those Jared Nathans and the Aaron Bilals and those guys. Yeah.
So Matt K here has never seen Kill Tony, and he's not really big into the stand-up comedy. Could you kind of like explain the concept of the show and why that was kind of like one of your goals was to get on that stage?
They pull names out of a bucket at random. You get a minute, then there's an interview process. That's where you're supposed to impress them, is with your interview, I guess, more or less.
Well, like when you get on, I'll watch it. How about that?
Sure, yeah. That sounds gay as fuck. Yeah.
But even with not getting pulled on Kill Tony, like you're still like going to all these mics, right? You're so frequently yeah, go ahead.
The first 3 weeks I didn't do stand up. I wanted my first time to be on Kill Tony. So I wrote a minute specifically for Kill Tony, and I tried 3 weeks in a row and did not get pulled. And then I decided, well, fuck it, I might as well start doing comedy, and walked over to the creek in the cave and just started doing comedy there. And I do it about 10 to 15 times a week usually. And I, like you said, from the hour special, I do 5 minutes every week, whether it's on paper or traffic lights or whatever. And then I'll also go to another mic, which is called the challenge mic, and you riff on a topic. A lot of my stuff comes from those two mics, where I like the Frisbee thing is, you saw the Frisbees we talked about from the 1 hour special. Well, my dad played Frisbee with me at the park, became part of my actual set. Whereas, those other things did not. But there's certain things there that became part of the stand-up I do for other people, whereas the tag writing mic is just more of an exercise, like the challenge mic, etc. And then I'll go from there and start building on that.
So you use your dad to set the scene for a lot of your jokes, or at least the ones I've seen. Is a lot of that genuine, or are you just using that as a backdrop? And
No. I never had yeah, my dad was a piece of shit. So yeah, that's all real.
Speaking of kind of just like hitting all those mics, when I went to the Creek in the Cave, like one of my favorite things, which I'm sure you've probably been involved in, was banana phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, the concept of banana phone. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I do that most Sundays. I try to skip it if I get on a couple times in a row and just try to give other people a space. But it's getting pretty competitive to even get on it right now. But
Really?
yeah, people, go ahead and you can explain it from an audience point of view, though.
Yeah, for the audience, banana phone is basically you do. I think it's just a minute, right? And and then the audience just heckles you, and the comedians just go back and forth with the audience.
They shit on the person on stage. They just take a big dump on them, and a lot of them know each other, so it's like they know how to really fucking drive it to them, and they say some really fucking nasty shit. And like if you're sitting in the audience, you're like, God damn, did they just say that? They'll start talking about something that somebody's got to be really insecure about, like, your teeth look all, like they're fucking talking sideways, you sit in the crowd and you're like, damn, because a lot of the minutes, like they're not good minutes, so like they'll just shit on their comedy, but then they shit on their appearance, they shit on their careers, it's a lot of shitting.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's a great time.
it's like boot camp for you guys, really toughening you up.
Right, like what I was saying, like the challenge mic, tag writing mic, banana phone. These are all different. Like some days are leg days, some days you're working in the arm. It's like all different parts of the gym you're training at. You're never going to get paid to be here, but you'll have some really good experiences that you can take with you to go get paid.
Sure.
Yeah.
And one of the things I really like about banana phone in particular is I don't have the guts to get on that stage and do stand-up comedy, right? So for me to be able to throw a line in there, and I know my brother is the exact same way, right? We could think of something witty that doesn't put us all the way out there. And I said one line to I'm sure Hank Garza, if you know him. Yeah, he was wearing a cowboy hat, and I told him he looks like Morgan Build the Wall-In, and it fucking bombed. And it was just, that was enough of like a gut-wrenching feeling in my stomach to be like, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to do stand-up comedy.
Right.
So do you
I got
know
a good one. I got a good one. You yell it out, and then everybody's like, just crickets. It's like, okay, on to the next joke. I remember like the dude Michael Malamu or whatever. Like this is one of our first time seeing. We were right next to the stage, me and Matt, and like, we're just we like to get shit faced when we're in Austin, especially having a boys' night out.
Sure.
And my brother's like, dude, you look like the caddy from Happy Gilmore. I don't know if you know who Michael Malamud is, but he looks like the caddy from Happy Gilmore that wears the one shoe.
Yeah. And sometimes Michael will only have one shoe on because he just got hit by a car or something. It's fun. But Hank Garza, he's Tony's right-hand guy. He's like his security or whatever, but he's always there with Hinchcliffe. So he's trying his stand-up whatever, but yeah, he's actually Tony's right-hand man.
Oh, shit. I had no idea.
Yeah, so if just a little inside baseball there.
When we started this podcast, obviously we're interviewing dads and people who are on that parental journey. I am 12 weeks into being a father.
You qualify really well for this.
I'm qualified, exactly, right? I got all the wisdom that is needed. And then Matt K, my co-host, is... How far along are you, Matt?
26 weeks, so coming November.
And he's not even showing yet.
Yeah.
So we kind of like have that perspective, but you bring a different perspective here after being a dad for 20 some odd years, correct?
Yeah. When my kids were your age, I went to work and let the wife take care of them. So it's a lot different nowadays, Are you guys stay-at-home dads now? What's the deal?
No, I wish that's the dream.
Yeah.
Actually, a dad that I don't even have to stay at home, where I could have a nanny and I can be off fucking around doing my own stuff. That'd be fantastic too.
Yeah, have somebody else raise the kids. Where they call that one mama. That's always fun.
Yeah, it seems like a plan. Every turns out okay when that works.
Yeah, yeah.
Just become an uncle.
I am the stay-at-home dad.
You are. You did. The wife's got the good job, and she's like, "Fuck it, you take care of this kid. I gotta go."
No, I just work remotely.
Oh, okay.
So for this kind of beginning period of raising our daughter, my wife still hasn't gone back to work full time. So it's just been kind of like trying to balance, like, hey, I got a meeting at this time. Can you watch her? But we're getting to that point now, Chad, where it's like, even 12 weeks in, she's becoming a lot more active.
Yeah.
And you have to pay a lot more attention to her because when you set her down, she's just like, hey, pick me back up. I want to do shit.
Yeah, you gotta get one of those kennels that have like the door on them that you just leave them in while you're doing the work. I think they call them playpens or whatever.
Baby
but,
purgatory.
Yeah, you know what they are. It's the same thing. Dog kennel, playpen. It's some have lids, some don't.
Hey, Chad, let me ask you something. Did you ever take your infant daughter or son on a cruise?
No, I wouldn't go on a cruise myself. Anyways, that's a terrible idea.
Okay.
But yeah, let alone bring the baby. That would just be torture to other people, not let alone me. Those rooms are pretty fucking small too, right?
Yeah, ask Matt. He loves,
I recently
he's a banana boater.
I recently just got back from a 4-day cruise with our daughter, 11 weeks old. And even the people on the cruise ship, like the workers, were like saying, I think that's the littlest baby I've ever seen someone bring onto this cruise ship.
Well, that's still free.
She basically slept the whole time.
Yeah. It's like going to the
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you an extra ticket or anything. You just throw them in overhead storage and you're good to go.
You got movies, concerts, cruises, airplanes, all that shit's free until they're like 3 years old.
Yeah, but just because it is doesn't mean you should bring them. Take your fucking
Yeah,
kid home. Let me watch the goddamn movie. I don't want to hear your fucking kid in the background.
It's free because they expect you to have the decency not to fucking do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I mean, even with like the point where the baby's at now, I mean, she's still just sleeping a lot. So for a majority of that cruise, it was just like wearing the hangover baby holder thing, basically.
The reverse baby backpack.
Yeah, going about our lives. Exactly.
Was it like the Impractical Jokers cruise or anything cool, or was it just like...
No, it was not that cool.
It definitely wasn't that cool. It was a really chill cruise. We did an MSC cruise. We usually do Carnival because we're trash. But we did this one because we thought that their baby club would be open. But we brought the 10-week-old in there, and they're like, yeah, we're not watching that baby. That baby's way too little.
Yeah, why'd you
We're
just
not
go to
killing your
Disneyland?
baby.
I mean, you go to Disneyland for like a lot cheaper and like see other things and not be stuck on a boat, right?
Well, funny you say that because I live right outside of Orlando, Florida. And that's kind of like our next big step is to take her to Disney World and kind of explore all that.
Stay inland, yeah. Yeah, it makes more sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Cruises just bum me out. I don't think I can do it. Yeah, it's too many people and too little space, and I just like you hear the same stories in the background. Doesn't matter who it is. It's just I can just picture it now. It'd be a nightmare. Like,
That's been my consensus every time he invites me.
It's annoying.
You know, I've been to Disneyland once with our parents, right? And like, they brought us to Orlando or like the Universal Studios or whatever. And they took us to Disneyland, but when they saw the prices, we were outside the gate, and then mom and dad are like, "Hey, we're here. We're at Disneyland." They point to the fucking gate. They're like, "Hey, you can tell everybody we've been here now, because they're cheap." And like, hey, we went to Disneyland, but we didn't actually go inside.
That's fun.
Take
That's
a
good
quick
thing.
photo by the sign.
We
What'd
were
you have
eating
to
at
do?
at our friend's buffet. Like, they stayed in a nice hotel at the Buena Vista Suites. So every morning we would just take our ass from the Motel 8 or 6 or whatever the fuck it was, and we would just walk in, go and eat the fucking breakfast buffet, fucking walk right out with the other family. It's pretty dope.
Wow. That's
Chad, did you do any like cool stuff as a kid that like you thought I had to take my kids for that, or was it all like new stuff for your kids because you hadn't
I had
experienced it?
I had a pretty shitty childhood, so like we just moved around a lot. But I took the kids to Six Flags as much as I could. Like even when we were like broke, I would like try to like get at least a season pass and like take the kids to stuff like that or water parks or all that kind of stuff, just to make sure that they had stuff to do. But yeah, I never like recreated any like special memories or anything. But yeah.
It's even better. You made fresh ones.
Yeah. Yeah, me and the daughter, we go dig for gold sometimes out in the desert, or she likes to use the metal detector and things like that. Or my son likes to play video games, so I'll stay inside with him and play video games and stuff. I don't make him go out with us or anything. Kind of give them their own little space. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, where it's like I don't know how I'm supposed to keep this baby entertained other than just with my presence. And I think that's okay at this point.
Yeah, you're good. Wait till about 4 when their spirit comes in, then you can be like, oh, this is a person now. Right now, it's not even a person. You're just
right.
a bag of flesh until it starts doing things. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, just carry around the baby Bjorn and keep it alive.
Baby Bjorn, that's what it's called. Keep calling it the fucking backpack.
It's a front pack.
Front pack, the fanny pack, the baby pack.
Has any of your comedy, I know like Matt was mentioning like your comedy right now, like some of your bits, like they mentioned like your growing up with your father or your absent father, like do you have any like comedy bits like about you raising children at all, or like do you find humor in any of those situations when you were raising your children?
I seems like I blocked a lot of that out because I haven't really talked about it too much as far as what I went through as a young dad or anything. Most of my shits now is just I usually talk about what's happening now, which is too expensive to get a divorce. The dating apps are way too much. That kind of stuff is just what's happening now more than what happened then. I think. Maybe it's
Wait, did I hear that correctly?
I forget things.
So are you? Did you said something about dating apps and stuff like that? Are you still married to your wife? Because that was one of your bits that I actually really liked, where you're talking about how you've been happily married for 6 years, but you've been married for 24 total. I thought that was hilarious. Is that still like a thing, or is that?
Yeah. We're still married. Like I said, the divorces are like $4,000. But you kill yourself like $2,500 in Canada, which is a cheaper option.
You'd think Vegas would have a cheaper option too. Quickie in, quickie out.
No, because the hookers are like $800 an hour, and they want to do 2 at a time. You're talking like $1,600 for an hour just to hang out with a chick that doesn't want to fuck you, or might not even fuck you, and you still have to pay. It's a scam.
Don't get me started.
That actually sounds more expensive than marriage.
Yeah, you might as well go on a cruise at that point.
It's a little cheaper than that, boys. But my brother actually brought your name up because you guys actually met in Austin, Texas.
Right, yeah.
I'm curious what your recollection of that story is and how it lines up with my brother's recollection of that story.
I don't know because I think I don't have an actual meeting memory, but I think we ran into each other a few times. And then I was like, oh, this guy's just got me on my Facebook now. And now he's like, hey, you want to go see Kill Tony? And we're just it naturally evolved for me. I don't know. Does he have a more of a crush type meeting happening, or?
It's a beautiful love story.
Yeah.
That's your cue, Mike.
Okay. You want me to tell you how we met?
On purpose?
I got a good memory, Chad.
Okay.
So, I was with that one broad or whatever, and I think we were out out in the back of the creek in the cave ripping cigarettes, and it was one of those times where I'm getting drunk or whatever, and then I was telling her, I was just talking about the different comics. I'm like, there's this one girl comic and she's done nothing wrong to me. I'm like, dude, I just do not like her. I don't like how she talks about her not getting dick for a year, just the basic girl shit. And then I'm like, I just don't like her. And then
Mike.
What?
Oh, he said, were you talking about Amy Shanker?
No. Well, that bitch, she's dumb anyways. But I don't know who you're talking about. But do you know?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But then she had pointed. She's like, who I don't like, and then she pointed to you. Okay.
Oh, nice. It's just my enemy. It's another one. I have so many enemies. So many people.
No. Listen. It's fine because after that we go inside and we're fucking starving because she's a big fatty too. And then it was the middle of your set. We were the only two in the crowd, and right in the middle of your set, we got up, walked right out, and then you on the microphone, and you're like, "Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for getting up." And then it kind of stuck with me after that. I'm like, dude, I fucking feel bad. So I messaged him. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. That was a fucking shitty thing to do because after we went to Rainy Street, we came back because everything was closed. and then we saw you on the scooter, and then you met us up on the scooter, and you're like, hey, what the fuck, guys? You fucking leave in the middle of my set, you know? And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry, man. You know, we're drunk, you know, fuck, I'm sorry. And then after that, like, it's like, fuck, this guy's pissed off at me or something, you know, because I did something shitty. And then I apologized to him, like, you know, I want to go to kill Tony or whatever. And
you feel bad for me? You're like, oh.
No, you know, I mean, like, yeah, because I mean, I try to treat everybody the way that I want to be treated, and like,
Sure.
I wouldn't want somebody to walk away while I'm fucking doing thing, but like, she specifically pointed you out that she did not like you, and then you were the one on stage, like, at the time that we were, you know, ready to leave.
Was it the chick you were with that didn't like me? So you're
Yeah.
who? Oh, okay, fuck that bitch.
I know, dude, I fucking hate that bitch. She started being rude to me at the end of the fucking trip. I was like, okay, fuck you.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't want to say I was an asshole, but I'll let you do it. So I remembered that. Yeah. No, that's why so many people hate me, because I do tell them what's up.
Yeah, I like that you called him the fuck out.
Doug, because it's kind of like you were looking for us. Like, I'm going to find these motherfuckers that just left, you know, like, and you rolled up on us. Like, you stopped.
On
What
the
the
scooter,
fuck?
got my 9 in the back just in case. Yeah. Dropping.
But like when a situation like that happens, like you're up there doing your shit to a nearly empty room, and then the last people walk out. Like, I don't know. I mean, you must be like a very strong-willed person, because like at that point, like, I'm wilting and dying. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm done now.
Well, yeah, you have two options. You can be like, well, I must suck, or they must suck. So I'm like, yo, you guys suck. Why are you fucking leaving? What's the middle of my shit?
Yeah, she sucked.
Gotta play that Uno reverse card on him.
Yeah. It worked. I got free tickets to Kill Tony a few times.
A couple times, yeah. I'm going back there on this Thursday coming up, too. We could probably go again, too.
See? It's working out.
You know, one of those
link
things.
up.
Call them out. We got to call more audience members out. Maybe I'll get like car payments and stuff soon.
So, Chad, are you still actively signing up for Kill Tony? Because I know that bucket is just exploding with names, like more and more every single week.
Yeah, last week was my 53rd time to sign up in a row.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So this minute's got to be killer by this point.
Oh, no. It's the same minute that I wrote a year ago.
Oh, okay.
You haven't refined it yet?
No. I mean, I have other stuff that I could do, but this is my Kill Tony minute I wrote for Kill Tony. So I'm gonna do that one.
But one thing I noticed is with your podcast, the ATX Comedy Review, make sure you guys give that a subscribe. You are networking with all these people in the scene, right? You have Michael Ridley on the podcast. Was it Ridge Hirschberger? Is that his name?
Yeah, we had Rich. We try to put pretty much who's like up and coming. Who's going to be the ones in the scene that you should be definitely talking to, watching out for. The ones that are doing things that can have advice for up and coming comics too.
Yeah. Do you have any plans to have one of our favorites, Cam Patterson, on the ATX Comedy Review?
I would like to. I haven't asked him. We're going to be moving, so the next couple of weeks we're going to be off air for a little bit. But Cam, he's the one who got me my last set audition, whatever, at the Mothership. A little inside baseball. There's 16 open slots on the open mic. Well, there's like 9 of them that the door guys get to pick.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I was one of his picks. So he kind of put me in there and got put me on the show. Watched what I did. Gave me feedback afterwards. Told me I crushed it. So that was cool.
That's awesome.
It's cool. Getting that little inside nod from him. Him being my guy to get me in there. But yeah, he's a real cool guy. He's always saying hi in the back. Every time I see him, he shakes my hand, gives me a hug. Just down to earth dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a lovely person. I actually saw him in Tampa opening up for Uncle Laser.
Oh, wow.
So he opened up for Uncle Laser's first headline show here in Tampa that I went to, and I mean, obviously he dead better than Uncle Laser, and everybody at that show was like they're taking pictures with Uncle Laser, all this new attention that he had. This was back in like February. Wow. And Cam was just like standing there before he moved to Austin. And my wife was like, go take a picture with him. Like, he was really funny. Yeah. And I did. And like ever since then, like he just like we're always going back and forth. I'm like, this guy, it's just so cool to see that evolution and to see that you guys are friends. Like, it totally makes sense. Like,
Yeah, when he came to the creek in the cave, he was just meeting everybody, just talking. He's just that down to earth type of person, and trying to get to know everybody. And it's definitely worked out for him. His personality is really nice, and he's always just outgoing, and like I said, he shakes everybody's hand before he leaves or whatever. Real cool guy.
Dude, he's probably one of the fastest up and coming people that I can think of at the moment, like in comedy at all.
Well, Hans,
like he's really he's fucking killing. He's working every night. I've seen him a couple of times. It's been new shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's got the one joke I always see him do where he blows a crack smoke in somebody's face. You live on the street forever. But other than that, his shit is just always funny.
Yeah. Well, Hans, when he got on Kill Tony right away, Joe Rogan started putting him on his shows, and he rose pretty fast. And then I think he got a little bit too close to the sun, maybe. So now they're backing him off. So I think they're taking their time a little bit more with Cam and these other guys. I think they're giving him a little bit more training day experience, than just put him right in there. And,
make him smoke PCP before he goes up there.
Make sure they're not going to be banging whores and smoking crack, while Joe's on stage or whatever.
It's just so cool to just kind of see that evolution and that, like, you've signed up 53 times now, and you're like, I'm still doing it. I'm still going to all these mics.
Yeah.
And was it just like kind of one of those things where, if not now, when will I do this? Like you were saying, like now that the kids are out of the house, I have the free time to do this.
Yeah, that was I've always been funny. I wrote comedies and stuff as screenplays when I was in LA for a while. But I never just got on stage. I always hung out with comedians because they wanted to be in the movies and stuff. But they're always telling me, hey, go try it out. Go be on. I never had a desire to do it because I wanted to be behind the scenes. I wanted to be behind the camera, working on scripts or directing or whatever. And so being in front of the audience wasn't really my thing. And then when I moved from LA, I moved from Los Angeles to Phoenix and Arizona, and I noticed that there was a need for a cannabis industry, like education for cannabis there, that a lot of information I picked up while I was in Los Angeles, they had no clue about in Arizona. So I developed a training program. So I ended up talking to like big crowds a lot and started educating them on cannabis for like 6 hours at a time. And so I was just being in front of people, talking, trying to be funny, entertaining while explaining cannabis, and that turned into, well, might as well go use that skill and go do it on, I saw Kill Tony and thought, well, I can do that. So I wanted to go do that. Yeah.
I'm really interested to hear more about this cannabis training. Is this something that you're still like involved in? Is this kind of like what your actual job is, or what is the balance between that and your comedy?
Yeah, if you want to say I have an actual job, it's herbalrisings.com. You can train to be a bud tender, somebody working in the cannabis industry, basically. It's like a vocational school for the cannabis industry. A lot of dispensaries hire directly from us, require our certifications a lot of times before they even start a job there. So we're in with the legal cannabis industry, not so much how to grow at home, but how to work with patients, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does that work, like on a state-by-state basis? Because Matt Kay and Mike, they're in Michigan, and that's like recreational and medicinal, and I'm in Florida, it's just medicinal.
Yeah, so patients are patients. We have recreational. There's different lingo sometimes, but a lot of times it's what's gonna make me laugh at a movie or what's gonna make me feel better. It's gonna be the same thing. So yeah, it's all about just listening to the patient, getting the right recommendations for them, whether they edibles, what concentrates, how to explain it to them, how explain how to dab, all that kind of shit. Something that a basic bud tender should know when they walk into a dispensary. Yeah.
Do you like indica or sativa?
Yeah. Well,
That's what I always get asked when I go in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just give me some gas.
Yeah. See.
They should all
or relax, watch. Sit on the couch, have fun. You want to be sociable. All those type of questions.
At least one person on every college campus needs to go through that So they don't learn how to smoke weed like I did, just blacked out, fucking drunk, ripping bongs.
That's a fun way too, though.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't remember 3 years, but yeah.
Yeah, those are the years. That's when I started. So I had my kids when I was 18, and I didn't start. Well, no, I was 20. I didn't start smoking weed till I was 27. So about the time they were
Late
old
bloomer.
Ripe old
Yeah.
age.
So, but then I didn't stop since then either. It's been every day. So yeah.
You look like the dude on the couch from Half Baked.
Right. Yeah, comic.
Well, if you didn't start smoking till you were 27, I'm still going to ask this question. Like, what is the weirdest thing you've ever smoked weed out of? Everybody here can go around.
Weirdest thing. I don't know. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but I have a couple of these volcanoes here, and these are.
Whoa.
These are fun.
A couple of those.
I didn't know those
Shit.
things were still people still use those things.
Yeah, I got two of them there.
Pass that bag around.
Yeah, I got the bags.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
So yeah, I would say that's probably the strangest because it's so much work to get a hit, but it's worth it. But I've made bongs out of everything I can, yeah, but that's probably the volcanoes are probably the weirdest because nobody knows what the fuck that is. It's it's in the middle of the deal. You have to use a bag and all that shit. So yeah, those are probably the weirdest.
So, Chad, we've been interviewing some like dad influencers. We had Tyler Champagne on recently, and we had another stand-up comedian, Mark Anthony Synagoga, Canadian, both Canadian. So to have some American blood here is really nice. I'm really curious as to
Actually,
like
I'm from
what was like your, what was that?
I'm from Winnipeg.
You're
Jesus.
Canadian too?
Another Canadian.
I'm fucking with you. Now.
Oh shit, dude! The fucking delivery.
I'm like, this guy's been all around. Winnipeg, L.A., Arizona, Texas.
I was like, this guy's a fucking professional over here with this delivery. No, but my question was like, you were basically saying you were in LA and you kind of, did the screenwriting thing, then went to Arizona and did the cannabis thing. What actually like influenced your move to Austin? Was it all comedy based or was it something else?
Yeah, no, I came here to be on Kill Tony. Because like I knew those guys out in LA, so I thought as soon as I got on the show, I was gonna get on the show like maybe the first, second time at the latest, and just get right on there. He'd recognize me, we'd be friends, we'd start hanging out again, and start kicking it, So that was the goal.
Man,
Yeah,
you
here we
moved
are.
for that show. They got to pick your name out of that bucket and fast.
That's what I thought eventually. I win so many things. Like I get pulled out of like of drawings, all sorts of stuff, all the fucking time, but I have not gotten picked for this. So yeah, it is what it is. Maybe I need to change my minute. That might be it too. The bucket's like fuck that guy. I don't know.
Wait, so like what are some of these things that you've won? I'm really curious because I have the worst luck.
When I was in LA, I was living in a closet under the stairs, which is like literally
Harry Potter.
like a literal like how the stairs are slanted. There's a storage closet. I was renting that for $300 a month. This was a fourplex, and like the rest of the house was there, but then like the stairs to the other houses, whatever. I was living under those houses' stairs, and then it was supposed to be $350, but I talked about $300, and it was me and my cat, my Siamese cat, in that little closet, and of course I'm gonna smoke weed, and I couldn't. I didn't want to like smoke weed in the room or anything, and the guy was really strict about it. He was like some foreign guy from like I don't know, some weird place. And he's like, no weed, no whatever. So I'm like, I'm gonna go try to find like some like incense or something that will cover up like the weed smell that's even in my room, just the weed smell. And so I go to a smoke shop, and I'm looking for like stuff that will just cover up like OZM or something. And I buy it. It's like $3, whatever it is. And he's like, hey, for $5 you can enter a drawing and win the 6 foot tall glass bong. And I'm like, no, dude, I have nowhere to store that. I can't have it. He goes, no, it'll help me out. You're probably going to win. There's hundreds of people, and there's just buy one ticket. It'll help me out. I'll sell the ticket, whatever. I was like, fine. So I get one ticket. I put in the thing. It's a lot of people in there. No big deal. I go home 2 weeks later. Hey, man, you won that glass bong. I was like, yeah. So now I have this. So he taught me into getting a little carrying case, which only covered like 3 foot of the bong, so there's like 3 foot of like stem sticking out of it.
Like a
'cause that was the
koozie.
biggest case they could have that they had. So I'm trying to sneak it into the house. It doesn't work. So I leave it with another waiter friend of mine who I met in LA. Of course, they use it and they end up breaking it before I even got to use it. So yeah, but that was the story of how I won a $500 hand blown glass bong, 6 foot tall, for $5 that I didn't want. But yeah, those kind of things.
Did you have your kids when you were living in LA doing the writing thing, or was that after you moved to Arizona?
So I had me and the wife met in Oklahoma. We were both working at Walmart. Then we got married. Then we decided to have the kids a couple of years later. But during the LA thing, I had a movie option. So the kids and the wife went to Oklahoma to go live with her mom. Well, I went to LA to go get that stuff going and get started. That's how
So
that
I mean,
worked.
it seems like your wife is pretty supportive of you trying different stuff, huh?
It's my bed, my TV, $4,000 for a divorce. What are you gonna do?
Yep, sure. I like that
Are
attitude.
you
That's
still living like you live? Do you want to keep on doing that? All right, then shut the fuck up.
Fred Durst. My way
They're
or the
sending the
highway.
bacon back.
Yeah, no, yeah. What's she gonna do? Leave me?
No, but I mean, like she is cool about it though, right?
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, okay, that's
I
good.
assume- I don't
It's
know.
good to be supportive. I mean, it's still a dream. It's a pipe dream. It's a tough fucking cookie to crack, and
Well,
it's
yeah.
not fair.
That's why I waited
know.
for the kids to grow up, too, because we tried it when out in LA, doing the writing stuff, and there was this writer strike during that time, and of course, things don't work out, so I had to go get like a real job and start the businesses and all that shit, and that's why everything was on hold. So I would have been doing this since like 2008 if I could have, but
Wow.
yeah, it was just I had to go make money and be a dad.
Going back to what Mike was saying there about like your wife supporting what you're doing, we had another comedian, Mark Anthony Synagoga, on the podcast, and he was saying that he doesn't bring his wife to shows because she criticizes everything. Has your wife ever been to any of your shows? I mean, you hit a lot of these mics and go to a lot of these shows.
Yeah,
so.
she clips it for me. She also edits, makes clips for me of my stuff. So I film all of my stuff.
Oh.
Like you saw, that's why I have this special, because
Yeah.
I'm always filming everything, just documenting what's going on. So she'll clip out some of my stuff for me. There's different things. So all these like dating app talks and talks about having a girlfriend and all that shit. She knows all about it. She's there. She doesn't criticize any of it. And the stuff she tells me to leave out, I end up doing and killing with, and I'm like, you really don't know comedy, so
Yeah, it's the best
let
stuff.
it be. Yeah, just edit the video. Don't worry about it.
I mean, that's really nice to have that, because for the Dad Brain podcast, I'm doing all of that stuff. And I mean, for a guy your age who's on social media, like, it has to be really frustrating, like, when you put all this work into your content and your comedy, and like it just doesn't get that traction that you're looking for. That's kind of like, we're trying to like figure out what that nut is on our side with like our social media. Like, oh, should we be like adding captions to our clips? No captions. Adding the hashtags. Like, I
Yeah.
feel so fucking lost with it. It's so hard.
I think getting Joe Rogan as a guest is really where you need to start. And once you guys
That's what I thought.
start there, then you can just do whatever you want. But up until that point, you're not really started.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Do your kids follow your comedy, or they look at it like dad's hobby type of thing?
No, everybody's been to my shows, and everybody's been pretty supportive. They're on my Instagram and stuff, but I don't know if they like watch it religiously or anything. But they're aware of it.
It's funny you mentioned Joe Rogan, because my brother and I, we went to the Comedy Mothership on opening night. And Joe Rogan did like a Q&A at the end, and this is before we started Dad Brain. We had started recording, kind of like batch recording some episodes. And he was doing a Q&A, and I was like, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. Like, do you have any advice? And he said, just do it, bitch. And
You You should have asked him, will you be on it right then? That was your chance. You missed.
Yeah.
We need you as the first guest.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's somebody like me. I'm always writing new stuff. So like, somebody will tell me a joke if they like about it, I'll forget that I even did that, or because I don't. I'm just turning to burning things. I'm trying to be funny all the time, and not just rely on that one funny thing I said that one time. I don't know. But yeah.
Now, I mean, like with with different crowds, do you gotta do different jokes? I mean, if you're for example, like what's the biggest crowd you've ever been in front of doing it?
I think the let's see, Cap City was like 100 or so. Velveeta Room was probably about 100 also. Yeah, probably about 100 because the mothership is about that much. Upstairs room, it was full both times I did it.
Yep.
So yeah, about 100 people.
So I mean, like, is there different jokes for? I mean, the Creek in the Cave. You got 2 people that are leaving, as opposed to a full room of 100.
I don't think I would do those jokes when those people leave again, But like I had like this last set that I did at the mothership that I totally killed with. I did it at the Creek in the Cave the night before, and there was only one person in the audience, but he was dying laughing the whole time. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to use because the night before I did a whole different set at Anderson Mill. And it did not work at all. People just looking at me like I'm a fucking idiot. Anderson Mill's tough anyways, but, I got to at least get something out of it. So I totally abandoned that whole set and started a whole new set on the next night, which is the one I brought to the mothership, the night. So basically I only did it once, and it was for one guy. And then it killed that one guy, ended up killing for 100 people afterwards. Whereas the one I tried with 10 or 15 people in the room that were paying attention, didn't work at all. I totally abandoned it and didn't even try it with 100 people.
Sure.
I just went for what worked for this one guy so well it has to work for at least half the room in there. So
yeah, I mean, like the laughter doesn't lie a lot of the times.
yeah.
So
I mean, that's got to be the best feeling, though. Like actually, like breaking through to that crowd, right?
Yeah.
Like you're experiencing both. I mean, I'm sure that's probably why you stick with it, right? Like it has to be a bit of like an adrenaline, an addiction, like that just feeling of that connection, right?
It looks fun as fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's definitely a high to it, but there's so much low time of just standing in line, waiting to sign up, not getting pulled. There's so much of is this even worth your time? Times that the 3 minutes you do get the laughs for. I mean, it doesn't really balance out, but eventually maybe it will. But right now, it's it's a lot more of my sitting around and hoping to get pulled than it is me actually getting on stage and getting those laughs.
And then I mean, it seems like there's a good camaraderie with the people in Austin, like with all the comics. Like you guys are all kind of doing the same, like on the same kind of path. Like on different nights. Like on Thursdays this is what we're doing. Sunday we're doing this, that. Like so you get to hang out with your buddies a lot of times.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And like that's kind of how like I see it too, because like I'm not a comic, but like, I still go back there and I love talking to you guys because like you guys are fucking funny. Like I see you guys on stage, it's fucking hilarious. Sometimes the comedians, they're awkward, weird people like that like are not good at talking one-on-one, but they go up on stage and they're fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool just to pick their brain a little bit and like try to get them out of their shell when they're not on stage, because I'm good at talking to people like as a person one-on-one. But if I go on stage, I'm gonna shit my pants, dude. Like, I'm gonna fucking freak out. I'm gonna be like, okay, that didn't work. I'm leaving. Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely you got to be able to do both. Especially if you want to get ahead, because the awkward people in the back, even if they're funny on stage, aren't going to be good to hang out with in the green room. And the people who are good in the green room have to fucking kill it on stage too, or else what are we doing here? So you really have to have that balance of be able to do both to be a really good comic. And so the ones who are awkward, can't do a podcast, can't carry a conversation, those are the ones who really have to kill on stage, but most likely aren't going to be touring with anybody or getting pulled on the road.
When you're with those guys in the green room, can they kill your set, like their energy? Because like if they're not, you can't vibe off them while you're waiting in the green room with them. Can you go in just like completely fucked up after that?
Yeah, that's what you'll hear, like Rogan talking on his podcast. The green room hang is very important. It's all about the energy in there before you go on stage, about getting pumped up to go get this crowd, to go and murder. If you're not planning on being a murderer, then you're not, your hang is going to suck. Everything's going to suck. So if everybody's on the same page of we're going to go out here and kill, then yeah, it's going to be a much better hang.
All right, so as we're wrapping up here, Chad, we definitely want to get your plugs in there, but what does the rest of your night look like here? I mean, Friday in Austin, are you going to a couple mics tonight?
No,
In the volcano?
Friday and Saturday are usually my my off days. I usually start comedy up on Sunday. I'll hit the mothership. Then I'll go over to other people with Hans Kim if I don't get on the mothership. Try to get on the dating show because it's a fun riff type scenario.
Yeah, I've been on the dating show, so is Matt.
Then I'll try to get on the bucket pool if I'm not on the list for the open mic there, and then I'll go to Sandjack and sign up for it. Run back and forth between bucket pools and my spot there, trying to get on that, and then I'll do Banana Phone that night for that wraps up Sunday, and then Monday it's Kill Tony, so I'll wait around for that, and then I'll either just do Access or go to the Creek of the Cave at Access, or sometimes Shakespeare and Access. Access mic's kind of a fun one because it's just a small bar. There's a couple people there, and it's easy to find out if you're funny or not. And then Tuesday I'll do the challenge mic. Anderson Mill and Creek in the Cave, and then Wednesday I'll do the tag writing, and then the Lucky Duck open mic, and then I'll do the Creek in the Cave open mic, and then Thursday I'll try to get Tiniest Bar and then Nar Bar, and I'll kind of wrap up that week and then do it all over again on next Sunday. But yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Such a robust schedule, and I think our audience is really going to enjoy hearing this journey, and I know I'm definitely going to enjoy kind of seeing the trajectory here, because I'm feeling that bucket pull. It's got to be coming sooner or later, right? We just hit a year mark.
Yeah.
So we're pulling for you. If you want to go ahead and share your plugs at this point in the show, that would be awesome, so everyone can give you some follows on your socials.
Writer ChadO. I have ATX Comedy Review, ATX Comedy on YouTube, Writer ChadO on YouTube. But yeah, that's me.
It's a good podcast too. I mean, that comedy review, like, if you're just going to Austin, you're gonna see Chad and Zach talk about the up and coming comics. It's a good show, dude. I mean, honestly, I listened to it, and I mean, there's some good shit on there, dude. I mean, you guys just sitting bullshit.
Yeah.
It's fun.
What comics are threatened by my abilities this week? And,
Exactly.
Scared.
That's the thing I love about it. It's like that inside baseball, right? It's like giving you kind of that insight, because I don't go to Austin as often as my brother, but like listening to your podcast, you kind of have the pulse of what's going on in the city.
Yeah.
So it just offers that interesting perspective. So
I'm throughout it all week long. I'm seeing a lot. Like at Access, one of our comics almost got stabbed. The guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I heard about that.
What the fuck?
I have some video of it I'm going to put together. I just haven't had a chance yet. But this homeless guy came back and was ready to stab him. I had to get between him and the guy in the wheelchair. And then we had to go out and chase him off and then call the cops on him. It was an ordeal. But yeah.
Oh, shit.
I love Austin.
You put
I
your
love
body
Austin
on the
for the
line for
homeless
somebody
people.
else?
Yeah, I did because I told him to go wait in the
Fucking
bathroom.
hero.
He's like, I ain't hiding, so now I have to get between him and the guy.
Fucking Captain America over here.
Yeah, but I've had a little bit of training. I mean, if I had to, I could get stabbed once. If I have to.
You know how to take a stabbing like a
You
pro.
don't have a lot of blood in your body.
It's all ice.
Don't get stabbed before getting pulled for Kill Tony. ChadO, thank you so much for joining us today on Dad Brain.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Dad Brain. New episodes come out every Sunday. Don't miss any. Subscribe today wherever you listen to podcasts. While you are there, help spread the word about Dad Brain by leaving a rating and review. Can't get enough Dad Brain? Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Dad Brain Pod.